Welcome to Exploring Cryptography with IEEE. So you guys have already picked up this goodie bag. So we're going to go into what's in it. You should have a cardboard tube, a metal fastener, and all of these papers. So this first paper is just an introduction from us to you about the general background of cryptography and what we're going to be doing today. This page is just a couple more different ways to encrypt messages in case you decide you really enjoy this and want to learn more about it. For some of you, this is on the back of your secret decoder page. For some of you, it's separate. So today we're going to make two different encryption devices. One is a secret decoder ring that will look like this and can spin like that. And then the other is an enigma machine, which looks like this and was created to be used in World War II. So we're going to first start with the secret decoder. So for this, all you need is this first page with the 3 circles and a brass fastener. So for now, you can put the other 2 pages and your cardboard tube off to the side. As a side note for everyone, you're also going to need for this a pair of scissors and some tape. If you're going to do both of them, we did not provide those for you. So step 1 of secret decoder is you're going to cut along the outside of all 3 of these circles. And for the small circle, just make sure you cut out this little notch because you're going to need that in order to create keys later. I did this beforehand. So these are my 3 cut out little circles. You might want to pause the video here and catch up, which is totally fine. So you're going to want, I'm assuming you're back and have your cutout circles like this. So now you're going to assemble it. You're going to go from biggest to smallest, just making a stack. And then you're going to take your brass fastener and push it through the center of your circles. And then you're just going to close down the back. And now you should have the 2 center rings able to move around, and the outer ring should be stationary. So now we're going to teach you how to use the decoder you just built. Part 1 is to create a key for yourself. So you start by picking your favorite letter. I'm gonna pick H. And then you pick a number you like. So let's see, I'll pick 14. So now I make my H and my 14 line up. And so your key for this particular thing would be H14. If you wanted to tell somebody else with a decoder ring how to decode your message, you would tell them the key is H14, and later they would use that to set up their own ring the same way yours is currently set up. So today we're going to, as a demonstration, encode the word STEM, encrypt it, and then decrypt it. So to do this, you would find the S on the outer ring. So for me, my S lines up with a V. So the first letter of my encryption would be V. Continuing, the second letter is T, so that would be a W. Third letter is E, which corresponds to H. And the last letter is M, which goes to P. Now, say my friend sent me this encrypted message and told me the key was H14, and I wanted to see what they were saying to me. I would have to decrypt the message and go backwards. So instead of looking at the outer ring, now I want to look at the inner ring. And the first letter I want to find is V. So here's my V, and it corresponds to my S. So that would be an S. My W would go to a T, so that would be a T. I need to find H. H goes to E. And then I need to find a P, which goes to M. So that would be how you encrypt and decrypt a message using the decoder ring you have created. Today we made a couple of practice ones for you to do if you want. The key is K1, and then these are the 3 different words you could try to decrypt. If you want to do this, feel free to pause your video right now. I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. All right, I'm going to assume that if you wanted to attempt this, you already have. So I'm going to give you the solutions now to check to see if you did it properly. If not, feel free to go back and try again. And Now we're going to learn how to make the enigma machine. So for this, you're going to need the last two pieces of paper we gave you. This first one has all the letters all the way on the right, rotor 3, rotor 2, rotor 1, and then this other page has reflector B on it. And you're also going to need your cardboard tube. So you're going to start by cutting out each of these 5 panels, all 3 rotors, the alphabet one, and then reflector B from these 2 pieces of paper. I have already done that beforehand, so these are my pieces. They should look like this once you've cut them all out. Feel free to pause here and catch up. All right, I'm going to assume you did that. Now you have all of your cut out pieces. We're going to learn how to assemble them onto the tube. We're going to start all the way at the left with reflector B. You're going to want it so these little half circles are facing to the right of your tube because they're going to connect to the part of rotor 1 and then etc. all the way down. So you can start by wrapping it all the way around your tube. You want to make sure that your lines line up so that this one connects to that one, this one connects to that one, this one connects to that one. And then you're just going to take a piece of tape and tape it down. You're going to want to make sure that you tape your reflector to your cardboard tube so that it doesn't slide around at all. You want this part to be stationary. Next, you're going to add rotor 1. I'm going to wrap it all the way around. Once again, making sure that all of these little lines match up on the bottom so that they connect to each other. For this one, you don't want it to be taped to the tube. You want to be able for it to have it move around. So I suggest taping it only to itself. That way it can still slide up and down your tube, allowing you to make different combinations. Same thing that we did for rotor 1, we're going to do for rotor 2 and rotor 3. Just wrap around the tube, make sure your lines line up, and tape it to itself so that it still can move. And for the last one, wrap around. You want your lines to line up. Tape to itself, able to move. If you did that a little slower than me, totally fine. Feel free to pause here and catch up. If you're with me, we're going to keep going. So you're going to want to line up all of the gray letters you have. So starting all the way on the left, there's this gray bar, which goes to Q. If you follow Q across, there's a little half circle. So you're going to find the gray letter on your rotor 2, which is E, and line it up so that they're all in a line. Same thing for the third one, which is V. Now that you've done all this, you can connect it to your very last piece. You're going to want to put the gray letter A in line with all the other grays. So A will line up with V, E, Q, and that gray bar. And you wrap it all the way around. And for this one, you're going to want this piece with all the letters on it to remain stationary. So you want to tape this to the tube. So this alphabet bar doesn't move and your reflector doesn't move, but all 3 middle pieces should be able to move. So now we have built the enigma machine. I'm going to show you how exactly we encrypt and decrypt things with this with another example. There it is. So this time we're going to encrypt the word pi, which is this little mathematical symbol here. To create a key, you just read 4 letters straight across that are in a row. The way I have it set up right now, I'm just going to use it the way we made it. So I'm going to use QEVA. So my key will be QEVA. If I want to send a message to someone, I send them that code along with the encrypted message we're about to create, and they will set up their enigma wheel just like this in order to decrypt it. So to encrypt, you start by finding the letter you're looking for, which in our case is pi. You start here, and you find the line it lines up with, and you start following it all the way along. Wait, I'll use this one. Start following it all the way along, up and down, all the way across, through the reflector, down through rotator 1 to rotor 2 to rotor 3, all the way back to your alphabet on the right, which gets us letter X. Now to do the next letter, once again, we start all the way on the right. You find the letter I, you find the dot it connects to, you follow that line all the way through rotor 3, across rotor 2, through rotor 1. You're going to reflect back through your reflector and follow it through rotor 1, back through rotor 2, and down through rotor 3, and we get the letter Q. So now we have our encrypted message, and we want to learn how to decrypt it. So unlike the secret decoder, there's no different technique for decrypting a message or encrypting it. It's the exact same pattern. So you, instead of starting at P this time, you would start at X. You would follow it all the way through rotor 3, down through rotor 2, rotor 1, through your reflector, back to rotor 1, back to rotor 2, back through rotor 3, and then you get the letter, I messed up. Hold up. We're gonna have to adjust this, but that's on me. Okay, so you start at X, you go down, you go around, you follow it all the way through rotor 1, up and through, down through rotor 2, back to rotor 3, and you get your original letter back out. So you would do it for Q, you'd start here, and you go down, and you follow it all the way through all 3 rotors, back across to get the letter I. So that is how you would encrypt and decrypt using an enigma machine. We once again created a few practice ones for you to try using the key KHGA. And these are the 3 words. Feel free to pause now and attempt to decode them. I'm going to assume that if you wanted to pause and try to decode them, you have already done so. So these would be the solutions to those. I would like to thank all of you for joining us today, for joining IEEE today and learning how to make 2 different encryption devices.